dices ahorita que me quieres a tu lado, qué lindo sería.
Well, we continue talking football, and only one fixture is on the card in Spain's top flight, La Liga, over the weekend. Second place FC Barcelona tackle Rayo Vallecano at home in their rescheduled matchday 21 fixture on Sunday. Barcelona will be looking to reignite their winning streak, while Rayo Vallecano will be focused on overtaking Elche to sit 14th on the table. So Lance, of course, a rescheduled fixture, but nonetheless very important. Points are up for grabs. Barcelona has been, as of recently, a bit inconsistent. Rayo Vallecano, a lot up for grabs. Similar to what we were talking about in the Premier League segment, where they're facing relegation.
Yeah, they are. The La Liga run to the back end of the season looks quite interesting. That relegation battle looks fairly tense. Barca would be very disappointed, Mariah, by their stutter last week against Cadiz, because there was still a mathematical chance of them at least pressing in the back end of the season. Not that they are close enough to Real Madrid to make it a grand fight, but at least to show themselves, to remind Real Madrid that we are here, and that hasn't happened for them because of that. But overall, Barcelona's past couple of months would have been very good for them and encouraging for them. So I like them to finish the season strongly.
Yeah, Barcelona, of course, when we spoke about them at the top of the season, Lance, they were strugglers. You know, a lot of people were actually poking fun at Barcelona supporters, saying that, you know, they have enjoyed success for so long. They have enjoyed a lot of financial wealth and backing, so much so that they had some of the superstars of the tournament, and, you know, they were always ahead of the other teams. This time it's a bit different, but I have to say kudos to Barcelona for, you know, reviving and able to at least reach second position. Well, joining us now to look ahead to that match, 1G Arango. Good afternoon, welcome.
Hey, how are you? How's everything going over there?
We're doing well, up on the weekend break, but we have to talk some football. Big match, yeah. Well, no, a big match this weekend, Barcelona, Rayo Vallecano. A lot on the line for Rayo Vallecano. What do you make of this one?
It's one of those matches that, well, when they faced off earlier this year, it ended up being a successful one for Rayo Vallecano. It ended up being indicative of what Barcelona were at that moment. It was a completely different team. For the most part, a different set of characters that were involved in a different system. You fast forward to now, and Barcelona, after having struggled in the Europa League against Eintracht Frankfurt, against losing to Cadiz, against everything that happened just the other day, that they were able to scrape out a 1-0 victory. It ends up being, how much did they progress? Or was it that they took a great leap forward and then maybe a couple of steps back because, well, it is part of that correction that takes place. You know, you're not going to say that Barcelona were a super team or they were the worst team in football, but they're somewhere in between, and the progress is always going to take them in a very non-linear, if you will, upward descent. It's not a straight line. There's a lot of squiggly lines in the process of Xavi Hernandez and the like. It's part of that entire process of improvement. On the other end, you start seeing with Andoni Iraola, it's a team that has been going on the decline. It was a team that, what was it, at the beginning of the season when they did beat Barcelona, they were fighting for Champions League spots, and progressively they started going down the table, and it wasn't a very deep team to begin with. It was a team that really fought and tried to get results. Injuries were affecting them. Yeah, you did have a bit of an awakening of Falcao, but it was just that. It was just a very brief awakening because of injuries.
Well, on to some interesting news now. Outspoken Barcelona defender Dani Alves said La Liga leaders Real Madrid are lucky. He was responding to a post-match interview question about the title race following Barca's 1-0 loss to Cadiz on Monday. Alves said, "They, Real Madrid, have been lucky that we arrived late. It couldn't be, and now we have to think about the next objective. We would have liked to compete with them in a different way, but life is like that. It's time to think about securing the second place." Real Madrid, they sit comfortably on top of the table with 78 points, while Barca, second, 15 behind on 63 points. Juan, what do you make of these Dani Alves comments that Real Madrid lucky?
I think it's much ado about nothing. I don't think that Real Madrid were lucky. I mean, you don't get that lucky. If you were, I'd love to be able to have you to go with you to a casino and to be able to do that. But you also have to give credit to Real Madrid. They were the most consistent team. It's not about being lucky. It's about being consistent. Maybe consistent doesn't mean spectacular. Consistent doesn't mean aesthetically pleasing. Consistent means being able to go out there and get the results you need on a night in, night out basis. And Real Madrid were able to do that. There were a lot of other teams that also failed because, you know, Sevilla could be saying the same things. I mean, Barcelona could be, you could also say Barcelona are lucky to be in second place based on where they were and based on where they are. And seeing that Sevilla also faltered, that Atletico Madrid also faltered, that Betis and many other teams that were ahead of Barcelona faltered along the way, and that they were, quote unquote, lucky that they were able to get into second place or fight for second place, knowing where they were under Ronald Koeman. So I think it's much ado about nothing. I think it's Barcelona just, well, you know, it's Real Madrid. You know, they don't deserve all the credit that they should be getting. But then we have to hand it to them. They were the better team. They were the best team in Spanish football this year from beginning to end.
Yeah, Juan, a lot of bravado there coming from Dani Alves, suggesting, you know, that the team set itself up late, which is the reason why Real Madrid escaped with this huge lead. And now that Barcelona is getting its act together, it's a bit too late for them. But can you talk to us about what Barcelona fans want and expect from this team, not only to the back end of the season, but maybe next season? Because at the moment, based on their scoring, their points level, they are just about on course to gather the same number of points that they had last year, which was their worst La Liga season since, I think, 07-08, somewhere around there. So they are hovering in a kind of success level that Barcelona fans aren't happy with. From what you're seeing from them, do you think they'll end the season strongly and be in a position to challenge for La Liga next season?
As far as being able to challenge for La Liga, they have to. They're obligated to. Okay, let's be honest. Whether there is an economic, crisis going on, whether it's an economic boom, it doesn't matter. They have to. This is what they're supposed to be doing. As far as Barcelona fan, that's a very ample umbrella that you start opening up there, because, mind you, this is the same Barcelona fan base that 20, 25, 30,000 sold their tickets to Eintracht Frankfurt fans just the other day because they couldn't bother going to a Europa League match. So we'll put those aside. We'll talk about the real ones, the ones that were there and have been there through thick and thin, through years where they didn't get any trophies. They need to be competitive. And that's the most important thing. How do you get competitive with this team? You saw the team at the first half of the season, and that was as far as it was going to get. Ronald Koeman even said, "This is all we have. This is all there is." So you bring in the Traorés, you bring in the Aubameyangs, you bring in Ferran Torres. It improves the team absolutely to compare to where it was. Now, are these players good enough to be able to take them to the next level? Probably not. So if you start looking at it from that perspective, that also ends up being a negative for them. And the question is, will they remain there? Probably not as well, because then you start hearing about the Lewandowskis, you start hearing about the Haalands that were going to be coming. So what do fans expect? They expect to see a competitive team. They expect to see a team that can at least be able to go and fight for the league title and maybe make some noise and get outside of the group stage in the Champions League. So baby steps in terms of this whole process. That's what the second season of Xavi is going to... Actually, I should correct myself. The first full season of Xavi should have.
Yeah, definitely, Juan. We always welcome your input here on the Sportsmax Zone. We look forward to chatting with you soon.
I always want to. Always willing to.
Thanks again. Of course, viewers, still to come on the Sportsmax Zone. We look back at Thursday night's NBA playoffs, plus a preview of Saturday's Viceroy Trophy at Kimanis Park. And in the last half hour of the show, soca legend Ira George, known for his hits such as Come To Me, Savannah and Carnival Healing, joins us on the set.
Sports Max, well. Hey, if there's one thing I want is for the government to quarantine me inside of it. Yo, this is Ivor George, the big boss in the soca business. Catch me on Sports Max. Soon. Be there.
Stay with Sports Max on YouTube and follow us on all social pages for updates, news and entertainment.